You're watching News 3 HD at noon.
Linda Barcz from the Barcz Company is here taking your calls at 270-9933. We had a tasty assortment today.
Yes, I was explaining that I didn't bring flowers. These are all different kinds of herbs, but this is a great time of year to think about it. And even if you don't have a vegetable garden, you can do herbs just about anywhere. You can do it in your perennial border. You can do it mix in with your annuals. That tricolor sage, that one down in front with the little pink tinge, that is very attractive.
Yeah, it is.
And sometimes it actually overwinters. If not, it tastes just about the same as the green one that's included in this little herb basket here. We've got different things planted up, and you can do the spiky rosemary, but there's also one in here that's a mint. And a lot of times people plant mint in their garden and then they regret it. So
it spreads.
Right, it spreads very aggressively. So there's one way to plant it in a container and keep it contained and not have those issues. And then I brought all different kinds of basils. There's a variegated one down here in the front.
I didn't know there was all different kinds.
Right, and this is a lemon. And actually, that I just was up at the farmers market last weekend, and they had all different kinds of pestos, and one was lemon pesto, and I actually like that better than the traditional, which surprised me.
Grow your own.
Grow your own.
Okay, let's get to the phones. We'll start with Melissa in Janesville. Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
Hi, what's your question?
I just have a question about my geraniums. They got knocked out from the storm recently, and they're down to stalks. There's hardly any flowers. I'm not sure if there's anything I can do.
Okay. Yes, I know that winds, and we've had all different kinds of weather events that have been very hard on plants. As long as you have the stems, it's early enough in the season. If the flowers were destroyed, don't worry about it. It will still come back. And make sure you fertilize them, pick off anything that isn't healthy looking, and it'll come back.
It's early on.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Nancy in Wanakee. Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is about a bleeding heart bush and a bridal wreath bush. I want to cut the bridal wreath bush way back to the ground, and when can I do that, and when?
Okay.
And then the bleeding heart, when can I move that?
All right. Well, the bridal wreath, it's too late to do that right now. They're actually in full bloom at this point. So what I would suggest, if you want to leave it in the place where it's growing, as long as it gets at least a half a day of sun, early in the spring before it leaves out, you can prune that just down to the ground, and generally, as long as it's healthy, it'll rejuvenate in a season. You won't have flowers that season. You'll be cutting off all the flowers, but in a couple of years, then it'll start to bloom, and it'll be much smaller and nice, and all the dead wood would be gone out of it. Bleeding hearts are a little bit touchy because sometimes they come early in the spring, and with the heat, they'll die back. So it's knowing where they're located. So probably very early, when you first see the shoots coming up, is the best time to move it. And if it's an old bleeding heart, those are tough. The young ones that have seeded, those are easy to move.
All right, let's go to Sally in Stoughton. Hi, Sally.
Hi.
Hi, what's your question?
My question is about orchids. Hi.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes, and I would like to know I would like to know if you're supposed to set them outside.
Okay, you can set them outside as long as they aren't in a southern exposure. And make sure that when you bring them out, even if they have east light, they want a little bit of, if it's a hot day, like that hot weather that we had, you would not want to have moved your orchids out. Gradually do it so that they don't get burned on those leaves. Otherwise, they're very prone at the initial. Once they get established, then they'll be okay so that they can get some of that eastern light. But west light is awfully hot for them, and a southern exposure is a little tough. Dappled shade underneath a shade tree would be the best.
Burn up.
Yes.
All right, Judy in Janesville. Hi, Judy. What's your question?
Well, hi.
Hi.
Behind this gal that was in front of me about an orchid. Linda, I don't know. I've never had one before. Little bitty thing the kids gave me for Mother's Day. And does the growth come out of the flowers?
Okay.
You know, I thought that would come out of the roots.
Did you catch that, Mark?
Well, she's wondering where the flowers are coming from.
The flowers?
Or the growth coming out of the flowers, no.
Okay. No, the growth on most, there's a lot of orchids. So it's, if they gave you something, a real specialty, but typically you have leaves and then you'll develop a flower stalk off to the side of that. There's two separate. Remember last week when the lady called about the problems with hornets and wasps?
Okay.
They aren't attracted to pollen like bees. So if you plant things, they're not going to be attracted. They're actually big consumers of other insects. which
Okay.
I didn't even realize
Learn
that.
something every day.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to Pat now in Madison. Hi, Pat.
Hi.
Hi, what's your question?
I have a question. I've planted petunias in this flower garden for years and years and years and had no problem. A number of years ago, I did have a problem with the Dusty Millers that I used as an edging. The blackbirds picked at it. Now this year, I'm blaming it on the blackbirds again. About half of the petunias have been picked at. Now, is that...
Gosh, I didn't think that it could be earwigs. The first ones that I suspect, if you aren't seeing anything actually on the plant, I suspect earwigs and also slugs, because they will eat at night and just be destructive, and parts of the whole plants will be gone all of a sudden. So if it's either of those, there are ways that you can spread material around and then water it in, and that will deter them from being destructive like that.
They planted a bunch of marigolds out here, and the birds all ripped them out.
I've heard.
So maybe.
Blackbirds, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, we're out of time. If you're on the line, stay there. Linda will take your call off here, and we'll be right back with a final check of your forecast.